Hey guys, Veg at the Red Marble here. So if you clicked on here, hi, thanks for doing so. There's probably one of four reasons why you did. Reason number one, you were looking for a Dean Colt and you saw a video about a Dean Colt. Well, that makes sense because that's what this is, kind of. Reason number two, you're interested in Railhammer pickups and you saw its video about Railhammer pickups. So you clicked on it. Good idea, more or less. Reason number three, you saw the word Spark Amp, and that's what I'm playing through, and you got all excited. Look, let's be perfectly honest here. There are a bunch of other YouTubers who are a lot more talented and a lot prettier than I am, and understand things a lot more than I do. I'll talk about the Spark Amp, which I literally just unboxed today. Probably I'll record a little video about that later, but just will suffice it to say that I'm using a Spark Amp, but that's really not what this video is about. Well, reason number four why you clicked on here, for some random reason you were bored, insomnia, possessed, who knows, and you clicked on here and you just want to troll me. Okay, at least I'm getting attention. Like Oscar Wilde said, the only thing worse than being talked about is not being talked about. So the only bad publicity is no publicity. So a few things about what this video is. This video is not a typical demo review. Partly because it would be unfair to say that I'm demoing a Colt because it's not a factory Colt anymore. By the way, let me get this camera down here so you can see a little bit more clearly. This is absolutely beautiful guitar, by the way. So what this is I will talk about what I like about the Colt. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I am most likely selling this beautiful thing because it's just got a lot of guitars and it's time to clear some out and make room for something else probably. So that's and the second thing in the interest of full disclosure is that I have had this beautiful instrument somewhat modded up. And I did not do it because wisdom begins with the understanding of one's limits. And I'm not going to mess with stuff. So what I'm going to do is talk about what I like and dislike about the guitar, and then show off what the Railhammers sound like in it, and what the piezo sounds like through the Spark. Okay. So to begin with, about the Colt itself. If you are interested, the Colt is a semi-hollow body made by Dean. There is a solid block of wood here that runs all the way through. That's hollow. Okay. It's got the two standard F holes on the sides. Okay. It is an absolutely beautiful guitar. This is the natural gloss. I personally am a big fan of how natural wood looks. It's got a maple top, maple sides, maple back, maple neck, rosewood fretboard, 22 frets. Fairly good access because it's single cut. It is a single cut. I happen to like single cuts, even though I got a lot of double cut guitars. Go figure. I like single cuts. I'm more of a single cut kind of guy. It's got these nice Dean tuners on it. See the back of them right there. This is not a new one. The thing was made in 2014, if I understand their serial numbers correctly, which I may not. It does have a piezo on it. That's what the little dinky toggle switch is down there. Down is here. Where's my camera? Where'd my camera go? My camera, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, sorry. Camera cut out on me briefly. What the heck is up with that? The down is the magnetic pickups. Middle position is blended. Top position is the piezo. The piezo is located underneath the saddles. There's a tune-o-matic bridge here. Stop bar tailpiece. Stays in tune really nicely. I'll explain that in a moment. It has a single piezo system. Each saddle does not have its own pickup in it. It's got one that runs under here for whatever that's worth. The modifications that were done on this were made by my main man Stan at Rocking Horse Guitars in Menominee Falls, Wisconsin. If you are in the greater Milwaukee area, Stan is the guy you want to go to. I'll try to put a link somewhere in the bottom to his shop. Stan is incredibly talented, very reasonably priced, and exceptionally patient with idiots like me. So he'll probably work really well with you too, because you're as bad as I am. So what do you need to know about what I just brought up? There is a solid piece of wood in here. This is veneered maple, by the way. They wire everything into the guitar and then put the cap, the back, and the sides on. There is no access anywhere through here. When Stan pulled this apart, you either try to go through the F-holes, which this is one of my only complaints I will register about this thing is the wiring you can actually see inside the F-holes. And through the actual pickup reservoirs to get anything done. So here's what I don't like about the guitar, and I will just get that out of the way. When I bought it, it was a factory stock Colt. It had top hat adjusters. They were really shoddy. No offense, but you got to cut corners where you can. That was one of them. I put speed knobs on, and I hit them color coded because, again, I am an idiot, and I had a hard time keeping track. The silver is the master volume. Then there's the blend and the tone. Black. Okay. Second thing, they had a very cheap plastic nut on here. For a few bucks, Stan put on a black tusk nut. Fits perfectly, blends in really well with the guitar. Just outstanding. Okay, next. These straps. The strap knob on the back was so flippin' close to the body that I couldn't get a locking strap onto it. I had a hard time getting a normal strap onto it. I had I think these are Dunlop strap locks put on. Made a huge difference. So I wasn't like dropping this thing every time I tried playing it, which was really bad. The pickups. I have owned 3 Deans or guitars associated with Dean. This is the first Dean that I ever had. I have a DBZ Imperial that was made by Dean Zielinski when he started DBZ Diamond. It was just DBZ, then DBZ Diamond. I have a Diamond too. And I had a Dean Zielinski private label, La Voce, which if you're at all interested, I did a painfully honest, and I mean painful, review of another video somewhere on YouTube if they didn't like block it for some strange reason. It's got 4 parts because, sorry, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't, but that one was really bad. Here's my issue with every set of Dean stock pickups that I have ever played. These were the DMZs originally. My problem, I think DMZ or DZM, something like that. My problem with them was for me, they sounded kind of thin and kind of like hot rodish, and I really wasn't fond of it. I am a big fan of Railhammer pickups. I like the look of them. I like the sound of them. So what I did was I took out the 2 humbuckers that were in here and put in, or had put in, there's a vintage, hyper vintage Railhammer in the bridge position. The neck is a clean 90 rail cutter. That is the version of the P90 that Railhammer makes. I am a huge Railhammer fan. I just love how they sound. I put them on quite a few of my guitars, actually. Last thing. I'm not a big fan of gloss necks. Normally, I would not. I have a Les Paul that I bought in college. I would not sand the neck down on that, but on this thing, I had Stan sand the neck down a little bit. Now, a word of advice, if you're going to have somebody take care of something like that, find somebody with OCD. Again, Stan is amazing. He's a first responder, by the way, even cooler. He really did this professionally to the point where it really looks a lot like these sand or the satin finish necks that are put on some of the higher end Deans, like the Dean Thoroughbred Select has a satin finish neck. This neck is a lot like that. He even rounded out on the back. You can't see it because he blended it in so well, but he rounded it out on the top here. So you can literally feel it and you can, I mean, it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. One other just sticking point for me is um, I like this headstock better. I hate that funky, weird Dean angel wing headstock. What the heck is up with that? Never liked it. That's why I never owned a Dean originally when I was in like back in the day when I first started buying stuff. Um, but I kind of wish I had simply because this is the most comfortable feeling neck as far as like fitting neck for my hand. I have small hands. This neck, which I think they call a U shape, is incredible. Um, I wish that my other guitars had a neck that was as comfortable as this. So uh, I love the feel of this thing. It's just absolutely wonderful. I mean, you can play just about anything on it. So, with all that being said, why would I think about getting rid of it if I like it so much? Well, I kind of got to thin the herd, and occasionally you got to just turn stuff over for new stuff to come in. You guys know how it is, okay? Um, yeah, I picked up guitar playing again. I did it in college. I gave it up for a while. Long story. I picked it up again a couple of years ago. I've gotten a lot farther than I did in college. Um, yeah, it's a midlife crisis, but it's a heck of a lot cheaper than like a Bugatti or a 23-year-old redhead would be. So I just figured we'll just stick with that. So I am a really big fan of Dean guitars. If I had the money, I probably would buy a few more of them. Maybe I'll get some more someday. Not sure. I have other guitars that Dean made in different companies, and I like all of them a lot. The one thing I find in common on all of them is the necks are incredibly comfortable. The other thing I find in common is I'm not a big fan of the pickups, which is why I swapped them out. So what I'm going to do here is I literally today just got in the mail the Spark amp that I ordered 9 months ago. Do I mind waiting 9 months? No, it paid off a lot long time ago, and there wasn't the sticker shock when it came in the house. And the wife's like, "Oh my gosh, that's that." Well, don't worry, it's been paid for since like Christmas. Um, I'll do a video later about making money on side hustles legally to get some extra cashola. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a very brief demo of what the Railhammers sound like in here, as well as what the piezo sounds like in here. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, so Dean makes two different hollow bodies with a piezo in it. This one and the Shire, and they look virtually identical. What's the difference? As far as I can tell, and somebody who's a lot more versed with Deans than I am can correct me on this. The biggest difference that I can find is that the Shire actually has a dual input system, so that or output you have one acoustic line for the piezo, and so it's stereo. That's what I was looking for. Thank you. Um, and a standard one that goes out for the electric. This only has one, which I'm absolutely fine with. I just use a Y splitter if I want to do that. I actually don't have a separate acoustic amp. Um, so let me play just a little bit here. It's not going to be great, but it'll be serviceable. So I'm going to put it on the piezo. This is running through the acoustic setting on the Spark. Okay, so blended. So that's blended with both. That's blended with the bridge, P90. Okay, so that's the piezo with all three positions. It sounds great. Are you going to mistake it for an acoustic guitar? No. But I will give you one small piece of advice that I have learned, take it for what it's worth, from middle-aged, midlife crisis guitar guy. I have had 3 different guitars with piezos in them. The first one was a JTV Variax, JTV 59, with modeling technology in it. Yes, that thing sounded incredible. And honestly, the only reason why I was reluctant to sell it, and I did because I wanted to get something else, was because I loved the acoustic models in it. That having been said, it had its own futzy issues. Modeling technology in a guitar is still, I think, the newer ones I think probably work really well, but they're kind of touchy. I had the Dean LaVoce, Dean Zielinski private label LaVoce, with a piezo in it, and I have this one. I will be getting another one with a piezo, which is part of the reason why I'm looking at selling this baby too. Here's what I have found. I used a Moore G300 guitar processor, and I currently, I sold that off and I upgraded to the Hotone or Hot Tone, I don't know what the heck tone it is, Ampero. There are 9 acoustic amp models built into the Ampero. They work amazing with a piezo. And in fact, there is actually a piezo model setting on there you can use with a normal guitar that makes it sound just like you're playing a piezo through it. With the piezo on this, running it through the Strat, essentially Stratocaster single coil piezo or acoustic setup, makes this sound really, really close to an acoustic. Now, if you want to shell out 17 or 1800 bucks for a Taylor T5 or T5Z, in full disclosure, am I going to do that? Maybe someday when my wife won't kill me. You will get an amazing sounding acoustic electric guitar. But under normal circumstances, you're not going to mistake it for anything. But if you just use the right combination of modeling and a piezo, you'll get pretty darn close and it'll sound not too shabby. Okay, I should mention I'm running it right now through on my Spark. All of the equalizing is set at 12 o'clock. I have just a titch of reverb on there and almost no gain. The volume is really low as well. So that was on the piezo setting. I'm going to get up and turn on the clean, same settings, and I'll just play a few things on that with, and I will run through the Hyper Vintage bridge and the rail cutter neck. So let me pause this and I'll go get that. Okay, I have it set on clean right now, the exact same settings and everything else, didn't tweak anything. Some of you are like, why did you have to shut that up? Why didn't you just use the app for it? Because the Spark comes with an app, you know, that old guy? Okay, yeah, first of all, it's not a boomer. I'm a Gen X, not a boomer. Secondly, Yeah, I know that, but I literally just unboxed the thing today. I spent the day doing like yard work, my job, like I actually work, playing with my kids, all that kind of stuff. I haven't had time to play with the app yet, so I'm still getting up and turning on and off. That's why. Eventually, I'll get the app running, and then I'll go from there. Okay. Um, so this is. I'm just going to show the clean channel right now. I'll do my best view of Ken when he does those Railhammer demos. Paizo. So big difference between the Hyper Vintage and the P90. Night and day difference in terms of just like even the volume, the attack, everything else. It's got a much more mellow sound. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's got a telly sound to it, which I think maybe is still the coolest sound on a neck pickup anywhere, but um, it's definitely got a very different feel to it, which is kind of why I wanted it on there and do that. So the next one that I'm going to do is going to be on the Crunch channel, um, just so you can hear how it dirties up a little bit. My apologies ahead of time if something kind of flubs up. This is just the way it happens. Okay, pause. Be right back. Okay, so this is on the Crunch channel. I'll go into more detail on the Spark thing. If you want to know more about the Spark until I make my incredibly enlightened observations on it, it's got, I would check somebody who does a really good job with it. And there's quite a few people, but this would be the crunchy, dirtier tone to it. Let me try that again. So that's on the Hyper Vintage. This is the P90. both. So, just a little bit of a flavor of what the Railhammers will do. Um, please leave comments, observations, whatever else in the section. If you like it, click like. If you don't, you're always free to tell me why you don't like it. Don't just be a troll, though. No offense. That's what some of you kids do. Yeah, I'm going to be the old guy who yells at you and get off my lawn. If you're so inclined, hit the subscribe button. Always makes me feel good. Why not? So thanks for listening. I will have some other stuff posted for you later. If you're at all interested, this will probably be up on the usual channels: Reverb, eBay, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. As always, I would encourage you to patronize your local guitar shop or do some cash business. I don't mind rendering unto Caesar what's Caesar's, but at least in my home state, Caesar takes a little too much for what Caesar delivers. If you follow what I'm saying. Okay, thanks for everything. Peace.